श्री जगन्नाथ पुरी धाम की जय, तिरुपति धाम की जय, गंगमयी की जय, यमुनामयी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री राधा गोविंद देव की जय, गौ प्रेमानंदी। All glories to the Assembled Devotees. All glories to the Assembled Devotees. All glories to the Assembled Devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
Sarvadi
Each day, the gem would produce 8 hours of gold, my dear Prabhu.
and the place in which it was kept and properly worshipped would be free of calamities such as famine or untimely death. And also the evils like snake bites, mental and physical disorders, and the presence of deceitful persons. Om Jnanamidandasya Jnananjana Sadakaya Chakshurumilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Tadati Swagadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Radhanath Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sadhana Karunathamikam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Rama Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Bhuvesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavadeshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Vivasindhubhya Evacha Patinanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Sridhar Swami gives the following Shastra reference concerning Vihara. 4 rice grains are called one kunja. 5 kunjas, 1 pana. 8 panas, 1 karsha. 4 karshas, 1 pala. And 100 palas, 1 tula. 20 tulas make up 1 ara. Since there were about 3,700 grains of rice in an ounce, the Shamataka tula was producing approximately 170 pounds of gold every day. Very grateful to be with all of you. God brothers, God sisters, giving me this chance to try to serve. We are reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 56, entitled the Shamataka, text 12. In this verse, Satyajit is worshipping this extraordinary jewel called the Shamataka. blessing that is given not only to the person who worships him, but the whole area around that person is being described here. Natural catastrophes, drought, earthquakes cannot happen. And by worshiping, 170 pounds of gold are created every day. Yesterday, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj gave us a wonderful, comprehensive explanation of the story. I'd like to speak very briefly about some of the background of the Shamataka jewel. In Lalita Madhava by Rupa Goswami, he explains how at one time this jewel was in the treasury of the treasurer of all the devas, Kubera. The demigods would invest their most precious property under the care of Kubera. And the leader of the guards of that treasury was a very powerful yaksha. His name, Shankachuda. And he became so intoxicated with the desire to possess that jewel that he stole it from the treasure house of Kubera and put it in his crown. This jewel was so effulgent. Whoever had it would become so wealthy, so beautiful, and so powerful. Later, Shankachuda became allies with Kamsa. Rupa Goswami explains how Kamsa, he was very frustrated. He sent Putana and Trinavarta and Agasura and all of these various mystics to Vrindavan, and he was getting news that they were all being killed by this little boy named Gopal. He sent Keshi and Arista as spies to secretly scope out what was going on in Vrindavan. When they came back, Arista Sura described to Kamsa the beauty of Srimati Radharani and suggested you should take her as one of your wives. So Kamsa called for Shankachuda and sent him to Vrindavan. In the 10th Canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we find Shankachuda enters Vrindavan. Actually, Rupa Goswami tells that one day two gopis, Vrinda Devi, Kundalata, they were talking among themselves about this incredible person who had just come to Vrindavan, who was walking around near Govardhan Hill. He had such an effulgence, such a beautiful effulgence. And Vrinda Devi said, he must be the sun god, Surya, to come to protect Srimati Radharani. Because after all, Srimati Radharani goes to Surya Kund and she worships the sun god every Sunday, and she does pujas every day. And her father's name is Brisha Bhanu. Bhanu means the sun. So he's a very good friend of the sun god. Purnamasi heard this. Purnamasi is like the guru, the mother of Sandipani Muni. She said, no, this is not Surya. This is a yaksha who was wearing a jewel that gives him this effulgence. One night, Bhagavatam describes Krishna and Balaram were with their gopis near Govardhan Hill, just in the area of Shankutir and Gola. It was holy night. The full moon illuminating the sky. It was a springtime. And Krishna Balaram began to sing so beautifully. It describes they could sing all the different notes of the scale simultaneously. That sounds inconceivable. Krishna Balaram. It was so beautiful. And as they were singing, because they were singing in their love for the gopis, they were becoming more and more intoxicated, and the gopis hearing it were becoming more and more intoxicated. At that time, Shankar-Chuda, he saw the beauty of Sri Radha and gopis. And Srila Prabhupada explains in Krishna that because he was so infatuated by his beauty, wealth, and power, he could not tolerate anything that he wanted to be enjoyed by someone else. Human psychology is when we don't have much, we're envious of people who have a lot. And we're thinking, if I have it, then I won't be so envious anymore. But it doesn't work that way. Because when envy is in the heart, unless you go to the root of that envy, chanting the holy names through devotional service, then no matter how much you get, it only complicates and expands our envy. When you have so much power, wealth, beauty, if somebody has something more than you, it's even more difficult to tolerate. So Srila Prabhupada said he was so intoxicated by envy, he could not tolerate that anyone was enjoying such beautiful women when he should be enjoying, and when Kamsa should be enjoying. So right in front of Krishna Balaram, he came with a stick and began to drive Srimati Radharani and the gopis in the northern direction. He was very powerful. Of course, the gopis were not attracted to his jewel or anything. They were in love with Krishna. So they were crying out for Krishna. Please save us, save us. And Krishna Balaram chased after Shankar-Chuda. When they came right before him, they were very angry. Shankar-Chuda saw them and left the gopis behind to run away. Seeing that the gopis were so disturbed by this ordeal, Krishna entrusted Balaram to protect them, and he ran toward Shankar-Chuda. He caught him with his fist, punched his head. His head came off, and then Krishna took the Shamantaka jewel. And when he came back, he gave the jewel to Lord Balaram. Right in the presence of all gopis, to show his impartiality. Soon later, when Krishna and Srimati Radharani were together, Balaram presented the Shamantaka jewel to Srimati Radharani. And Krishna was so happy. He said, this jewel is as good as my Kaustuba mani. It is the best of all jewels. And he told gopis, you should put this in a necklace for Srimati Radharani to wear. Swami tells us how when she would wear that jewel and Radha Govinda Day would perform their leelas, this was very, very special enhancement. As time passed, Akrura was sent by Kamsa to take Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. And they didn't come back, or there was thought to come back. He explains how the separation of Srimati Radharani was so unbearable. She saw a crow in a tree. And because the crow was blackish, it reminded her of Krishna's complexion. And she started talking to the crow. To go to Mathura and give Krishna this message. That my body is like a house, and me, the soul, is like a little animal living in a house. And the house is on a raging fire of my separation from Krishna. I'm burning and I'm burning, but I can't get out because there's a bolt on the door. That bolt is the hope that Krishna will return, because he promises he will return. Please beg your master to remove this bolt so I can give up my life and stop burning in this fire of separation. This was her mood. The Rupa Goswami explains that Surya, the sun god, his daughter is Yamuna. And Yamuna is none different than Vishaka, one of the intimate friends of Sri Radharani in Vrindavan. So the Yamuna came and brought Srimati Radharani to the sun planet, an expansion of Srimati Radharani, to try to pacify her, reconnect her to Krishna in another level. And Sri Radharani was so grateful, with much love. Just like one offers a flower to the deity, she offered the Shamantaka jewel to Surya, the sun god. Meanwhile, one of the yadus, his name was Satyajit, he didn't have any children. And he worshipped Surya, the sun god, with all his heart, with great, intense, fervent devotion in his own way. And he prayed to Surya to give him wealth and to give him a daughter. Being pleased with his worship, Surya entrusted to him the Shamantaka jewel. And told him all these benedictions. If you take care of this jewel carefully and worship it, it will give you 170 pounds of gold every day. And all these other benedictions. And he also gave that expansion of Srimati Radharani in the form of Satyabhama. And said you should only marry her to the most exalted of all persons. So when Satyajit was wearing that Shamantaka jewel, he was so brilliant, similar to the misconception of the gopis. We read in Srimad Bhagavatam, the yadus were thinking that the sun god must have come to Dwarka in order to meet Krishna. Krishna said, that's not the sun god, that's Satyajit. Just ask the jewel. And Satyajit was very, very carefully worshipping the jewel and getting all this gold every day. 170 pounds of gold a day. How many pounds of gold is that a month? And it's not like, all kinds of 18 karat gold, 20 pure gold. It's celestial demigod standard gold. Krishna requested Satyajit that this is so valuable, it should remain in Dwarka, but you should give it to King Ugrasena. He was more attached to keeping it for himself than using it according to Krishna's wish. So that's where we are in today's verse. Srimad Bhagavatam explains, when you water the root of the tree, every heart of the tree is nourished. If you try to water the leaves and the branches and the twigs, the bark, separately, then nothing and no one is really deeply satisfied. It's all superficial. And Krishna is the root of all existence. Aham sarvasya prabhavam mata sarvam. I'm the source of all material and spiritual worlds. Those who understand this worship me with all their hearts. Janmata Shantam. So the secret of real happiness is samsaya paritosha, is to make Krishna happy. But Maya's power is we become covered with our ahankar, our ego, and we're thinking that something else can give us happiness. And Maya is so powerful. Just see how she was. Satyajit was not just somebody from Chennai. He was living in Dwarka. He was in the family of the Yadu dynasty. He was seeing Krishna every day. But yet, material opulence distracted him and made him start thinking of I am mine. I am this body, this jewel is mine. How can I give it up? The opulence of fame, the opulence of power, the opulence of wealth, the opulence of abilities, all of these things could infatuate the mind. We're about to read about all the incredible complications and sufferings that he had to undergo. And it wasn't worth 170 pounds of gold a day. But he still couldn't give it up. Sankirtan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Sankirtan must be understood by studying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. Because we understand that Paramita Jayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan, the prime benediction for all humanity, is this congregation and chanting of the holy names. And Lord Chaitanya taught us how to do it. What was the nature of the devotees and their relationships with each other? In this regard, I'd like to tell a story. Just a few weeks ago, I was in the San Francisco area. And I was visiting my very beloved godbrother, Vaisheshwara Prabhu. He's one of the great legends of distributing of Srila Prabhupada's books for almost 40 years. And we have an annual tradition where we go to a forest called Muir Woods and we spend the day walking together. How many of you have been to Muir Woods? Please raise your hands. It's a forest of redwood trees. Redwood trees are the highest and largest trees on planet Earth. There are redwood trees that are over 2,000 years old. And they grow so high, the highest trees on the planet. And some of them go so wide. There's one redwood tree where if 20 fully grown adults were to hold hands, stretch their arms out, they could barely circle the tree. And walk walking through this redwood forest is really an enchanting experience. Because the redwood trees have very thick bark. So it makes everything kind of like soundproof. It's very quiet. It's like going into another world with these massive trees towering to the sky. There's so many of them. We were walking and walking. We came upon a group of tourists from China. And there was a forest ranger explaining about redwood trees to these tourists. So Vaisheshika Prabhu and I just kind of stood behind the tourists and listened. It was very interesting what he said. Are you interested in that story? He explained that the redwood roots do not grow deep, yet they're so high, and they're so big, and they're so heavy. And when you're so high and your roots are not so deep, and they live for thousands of years old, and during these thousands of years there's tornadoes, there may be hurricanes, there's massive windstorms, rainstorms. In California there were several earthquakes. How is it that these trees going so high up with such shallow roots that they don't fall down? He explained. The roots go underground, they go out, they expand. And all the different redwood trees, their roots interlock with each other. They actually wrap around each other very intimately. And that way, every tree has the support of every other tree. And the little tiny trees that are just growing, they can easily be knocked down by the wind or something like that. But the big giant trees, all the power of their roots are holding them up. You see, the little trees are getting their strength from the big trees. The big trees are getting extra strength by connecting with the little trees, because on the other side of the little trees, there's other big trees connecting to their roots. So the weak trees are getting strength and the strong trees are getting stronger. This is the underground secret of the redwood tree. Their interconnection of embracing each other underground supports every one of them. And therefore, for thousands of years, these redwood forests are growing and growing and growing. I guess I'm giving a little lesson in devotee care. That this is what Sankirtan is, according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's example. That when devotees are united together, interconnected, in a spirit of service to each other, Vaishnava Seva, it makes us very, very powerful. And then when we chant the holy names together, Lord Chaitanya told Rupa Goswami that the chanting of the holy name is like pouring water on the Bhakti Lata Bija. But as we're watering our devotional creatures, we need each other. Because in this age of Kali Yuga, there will be so many storms, incredible storms, both within and without. Lord Chaitanya ignites lessons in this regard through his devotees. We find Sanatana Goswami was being praised by Lord Chaitanya and being empowered by Lord Chaitanya. And all the devotees who were present and everybody else, they were in ecstasy. And Srila Prabhupada explains this is Vaishnava. When someone is being recognized by the Lord, when someone is being empowered by the Lord, all other devotees become happy to see this. Because the most important trait, Prabhupada explains, of a Vaishnava is not to be envious. Similarly, when King Prataparudra was getting embraced by the Lord, and the Lord was weeping tears on him, all the devotees were so happy. And Srila Prabhupada explains, this is the quality of Vaishnava. A person who's not a Vaishnava is envious of someone who's getting mercy. A Vaishnava is happy when somebody gets mercy. And then we see from the other side how, on this side, devotees are happy when somebody's flourishing. In the story of Prataparudra before this, when Lord Chaitanya rejected him, all the devotees were desperately trying to arrange a meeting with the Lord. In the story of Chota Haridas, when he was rejected, all the devotees were doing everything possible to try to somehow connect him with the Lord and pacify him. How Krishnadas was rejected by the Lord externally, and the devotees went so many efforts to engage him in devotional service. And during the Mahaprakash at Srivasa's house, incredibly, Lord Chaitanya was bestowing the most intimate wishes upon all his associates. To Haridas Thakur, he revealed his form of Krishna and gave him all blessings. To Murari Gupta, he revealed his form of Ramchandra and revealed to Murari for the first time that he was Hanuman and gave him all benedictions. To Kolabej Sridhar, Lord Chaitanya became Krishna Balaram and offered him any blessing. So every single devotee, Srivasa, Dvaita, everything they ever wished from the deepest spiritual place in their heart was fulfilled during that 21 hours. Srivasa, he said, why are you not meeting Mukunda? Why don't you call for him? Lord Chaitanya said, I will not see that rascal. Don't ever let him come before me. Srivasa and all the devotees started crying. They were pleading with Lord Chaitanya, please give your mercy to Mukunda. Now, a kind of ordinary devotee would think, well, I just got all my benedictions. Mukunda, too bad. I'm sorry. I don't know what he did. They were feeling no happiness, even with all the benedictions that they received. Because Mukunda was being left out. It's like that underground interlocking of the roots of the redwood trees. Srivasa and the devotees were pleading for the Lord to be merciful to Mukunda. And the Lord chastised him so badly because he was listening, he was hearing from people who were offending Krishna. Mukunda was afraid. He said to Srivasa, will I ever get to see him again? And Srivasa said, my Lord, will he ever get to see you again? And Lord Chaitanya, in an angry mood, he said, after 10 million births he will see me. When Mukunda heard that, he became so happy. He started to dance. In 10 million births, I will see Lord Chaitanya. I'm so fortunate he was dancing. I will see, I will see. When Lord Chaitanya saw that, his heart melted. He told the devotees, bring him to see me now. They went to Mukunda. Lord Chaitanya wants to see you. Mukunda was so intoxicated with the expectation that he'd get to see him in only 10 million births that he didn't even see them. He was just dancing. I will see, I will see, I will see. The devotees had to pick him up and bring him right before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he was looking at Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya said, because you had so much faith in my words, 10 million births, and you had so much value of seeing me, that 10 million births is a small price for this benediction. Such patience, such appreciation and gratitude, and such faith, I will give you all benedictions now. And not only that, you will always see me. You will be my favorite kirtan singer wherever I incarnate. And always be surrounded to give pleasure to my devotees through your chanting of the holy names. Here again, we find the nature of the relationships with the devotees. This is Sankirtan. Srila Prabhupada explained, united we stand, divided we fall. Whether we're a bunch of sticks bound up with a rope, as Prabhupada explained, and nothing can break us. But if you take off the rope, each stick is usually broke. Or the redwood trees, individually they will be pushed down. But when they're interlocked together, the unity is our strength. And unity is something that should be cultivated in a very deep way. Not just that, we're in the same place. That's also important. But the actual spirit of seva, Vaishnava seva, the spirit of care. This is very important. And I'd like to say one thing about the Shamantaka jewel and about how important it is to keep our own individual separate interests aside for the higher principle of pleasing Krishna. Recently, I was in London and I was asked to give a talk at a very, very large bank, the HSBC Bank. And after my talk, Ambarish Prabhu, he spoke. And they were very much impressed that the great-grandson of Henry Ford was coming to speak. And he spoke with so much devotion to Srila Prabhupada. It was just so beautiful. The bankers were saying, actually, he speaks just like a Swami. I was thinking that this idea of yukta vairagya, that whether we're rihe kako, pane kako, sakahari, pole kako, suke tuke kulonako, padane harinan kolore, taiko Radhanath Swami. Bhaktivinoda tells whether we're grihastas or whether we're renunciates, if we're chanting the holy names together in kirtan, we become free from all the dualities of this material world. And we can use whatever we have. Ambarish Prabhu, he was given the order by Srila Prabhupada over 35 years ago to build this temple in Mayapur, or to at least help to build this temple in Mayapur. And he has put enormous amounts of his own personal money, not just write-offs from a company, his own personal money has been put so much, and there's been so many reversals. And due to mismanagement of the past, a lot has been wasted. But he never gave up. He's just so determined, so enthusiastic. And I was thinking, the same kind of enthusiasm and determination his great-grandfather Henry Ford had. Henry Ford, his dream was to make an automobile, a Ford, in an assembly line in such a way that almost every American could afford to have one. Srila Prabhupada wanted to build this temple in Srimad so that people from all over the world could come and experience Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu's mercy and the sanctification of Sri Mayapur. Ambarish Prabhu perhaps even has more enthusiasm and more determination to build this temple than his great-grandfather had to build ours. Look to Bhagavatam. Not like Satyajit. He wanted to keep it for himself. He wanted to use all of it according to the will of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada has so beautifully, mercifully revealed to us the will of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much.
Lord,